All right, we are here on episode 7. We are going live,
Yes.
child. It has been a night, 7:23, and it has been wild, okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I just tell you, I am so happy that today is the day that I have Pastor Lisa and Pastor Robert, okay? Because it has been a challenge. But we are here at 7:23,
Mm-hmm.
are live taping episode 7 and episode 8. I'm so excited. Want to make sure that if you are seeing this, that you are liking and you are sharing,
Yes.
because we are going to get into the sauce. All
Yes.
right. So today, before I pass the mic, I want to we're going to be talking about how to vet a potential partner.
Yes.
And we're going to be talking about um becoming a treasure. Y'all, Pastor Lisa is going to bring us the sauce. Okay. We are going to have fun tonight and enjoy our night with great information. And so I look forward to seeing you online.
Yes.
Make sure that you're again liking and sharing. Come on in, like and share, like and share. Excited to have you here. And so today I have two of my extended family members
Yes.
from PTI. It is my home, will always be my home, even though now Mama Mariah is my home technically. um, PTI will always be my home, just because of the relationships that I have built there and
Yes.
all my experiences, my growth spiritually. And so I will let them introduce themselves. Pastor Lisa, you go ahead first.
Okay. Well, hello everybody. I'm Pastor Lisa Maxwell. As Sasha mentioned, I am the one of the pastors of community affairs at Praise Tabernacle International in beautiful Fort Lauderdale. Pastor Robert and I have been married for 24 years
Yes.
with two beautiful children and our new grandparents.
Yes.
So we're very excited about that. Currently, I work at home, taking care of the ministry, getting things up and running, and also just doing what I need to do to take care of my king, the king of my castle.
Yes.
Oh, shucks. I am Pastor Robert Maxwell. Like my wife say, I'm also one of the pastors at Praise Tabernacle International, which that is our home church that we love, and we're under the leadership of Pastor Dwayne Dawkins and his
Yes.
lovely wife, Pastor Tamia Dawkins. And just like my wife says, we've been married for 24 years. We love every minute of it. And then also, we're excited, for our two kids and also our new granddaughter,
Yes.
which I am a girl dad, y'all. I am a girl dad, right? I have one son, one daughter, 6 goddaughters,
Yes.
and one granddaughter. So sorry, son, but I am a girl dad.
You guys just celebrated an anniversary.
Yes.
Yes, we did.
In February.
Yeah.
Anniversary.
Thank you.
And that was 24 years.
24 years.
24.
Oh, that is a whole human being, okay? Entire human being. That is amazing. Glory be to God for that.
Yeah.
So today we are going to be talking about and before I forget, before we get into that, Pastor Lisa, she did not mention, y'all, that she has a book coming out. So the gems that you're going to hear tonight, all right, make sure y'all stay tuned for that book.
Yes.
Awesome. So I'm so excited. So today we're going to be talking, it's 2 parts. We're going to be doing episode 7, how to vet a potential partner.
Yes.
And then we're going to break for a second and then come back on episode 8 on how to become on becoming a treasure.
Yes.
All right. Pastor Lisa is going to bring us the sauce on that. So we are so excited to have you on that. And so let's get into it. One of the things that I thought about when thinking about this topic was that the processes that we use to date, right?
Mhm.
Um, they tend not to be very effective, at least for me. Okay. As a single person, the process sometimes is like, okay, what am I looking for? Especially if you're dating as a believer,
Yes.
because it's not, you can't be looking at the same things, right?
Right.
And so I wanted to hear your thoughts on that, on what what are the things that we should be looking for on when you talk about vetting a partner.
What's that?
Wow. What should we be looking for when we're vetting? So when I'm thinking about vetting, that's more so after you've already met the person, and now you're 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 coming to your conclusions and things like that. That one is a touchy subject, right? Because everybody has their own wants, their own likes, their own dislike.
Mhm.
Right.
So it's kind of difficult to basically describe a cookie cutter on that. But um, if it was me,
Hmm.
I would say I'm looking for that woman. If I was looking for that woman, because I already found it, right?
Right.
I would say that she would have to pique my intellect.
Right.
Um, I definitely am looking for that type of woman that sees me for who I am right at that moment, and
Right.
understand that I may not have all the answers right now, but stick with me. I'm gonna basically come up with those answers later. I'm
Right.
a man that likes to plan things out.
Right.
Mhm.
I don't like to just wing it.
Right.
I
Right.
used to be like that when I was a kid, and when I got older, I realized that process don't work,
Right. Right. Right.
because all you're gonna do is find yourself being behind,
Right.
and you're just gonna whatever way the wind blows. So um, I've always learned from my standpoint that you as a man, you want to be to the point to where you can either be uh, sort of in that same realm as the father of the young lady that you're trying to pursue,
Mhm.
or you're going to be above that realm, meaning that you can take it to another level, to where she has that sense of comfort that even though you might not have all the answers, she feels protected in knowing that you are going to be able to get there. You have a plan that she's ready to stick with. I need a ride or die woman. I need a woman that's going to ride or die with me, right? When I mess up, um, yeah, I'm going to need those times where she's going to point the finger and say, "Yeah, you messed up. You messed up big time."
Right.
But
Right.
then the other times it's going to come back and say, "Yeah, you messed up, but look, you're still the man.
Right.
Get back
So,
up. Let's get back into the fight."
let me ask you a little bit of like towards um biblical principles,
Mm-hmm.
right? You with
Mhm.
in real life situations.
Right.
I know when we had a conversation, we talked about like because the basis of what we do and everything that we do in every fragment
Mhm.
of our life, right, are those principles, right?
Right. Right.
I know you had mentioned something that was so like eye-opening for me, is that women set the standard. I think that's
Yes.
what
Mhm.
you said,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
Yes.
And so, okay, so in understanding that, right?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
What are the things that we should look for, or steps that we should be taking in vetting this partner? Um, you know, and specifically, like, I know we had mentioned something about that I want you to expand on, because I know we talked about creating a village, right?
Mhm.
Right.
So I want you to expand on that for us, because that was really deep.
Okay. So I'll start. Do you want to start or you want me to start?
I'll start.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Go right ahead. See what I mean? Exactly
Right.
what I said.
Strong woman. Right.
Strong woman.
That's right.
So I think when it comes to setting the standard, first of all, let me tell you, do your recon. Make sure you do your recon.
Right.
If you got to do a background check, check the credit report, make sure they doing what they supposed to do. Just make sure you do your recon. Because what you want, when women set the standard, you want to make sure that you're respected and accepted for who you are.
Mhm.
Right.
That's one of the most important things. You don't want somebody who's going to try to change you.
Right.
And the first thing is being comfortable with who you are personally.
Right. Right.
Because if you're not comfortable with yourself, there's no way you're going to be comfortable being with somebody else.
Amen to that.
So you want to make sure that you're not going to be treated as an option.
Right.
Because when people look at you, if they treat you like you're an option, like you're sitting on the bench waiting for them, then that means they really don't value you.
Mhm.
Right.
And you can't carry yourself as if you're just an option.
Yes.
Right.
That's why it's important that you have the village that's there to encourage and to empower you. And when they see somebody treating you wrong, they're going to pull you to the side and they're going to have that conversation with you.
Right.
Yes.
And they're going to say, listen, you're beautiful. You don't have time for that. You're better than that.
Right.
And those are the people that encourage you and get you back on track to who they know you to be.
Right.
Right. Right. I love that. I love that.
And also with your village, your village are supposed to be the folks that also keep you grounded.
Yes.
Right.
You know, they can go ahead and get you on an emotional high, but at the same time they remind you that the ground is still there.
Yes.
Right.
So but at the same time, you want to make sure that village also respect your privacy also, and respect your time that you need, because sometimes your village, if you allow them to,
Yes.
they can come over and take over and cause havoc too, right?
Yes.
So what about using this village? Because so something that I have, thought about, because, when my grandfather was here, like, he could vet them, right?
Yeah.
Like, so when I think about the dating process, right, I think about it as the dating phase. Like, you're collecting data, you're determining whether or not this person is someone that you would really like to explore further. And then you go into the courting phase, where
Mhm.
really that's where you've done your own evaluation. Now,
Mhm.
like, then it takes a step further. Usually in the courting phase, that's really when the family gets involved.
Right.
Yes.
Like, do you come over for dinner?
Mhm.
Grandma is like,
Right.
Yes.
see who this really is. Who are you, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
And so that phase comes in. But some of us, we don't have that system,
Right.
Right.
right? And so when I think about village, right? Think about creating a support system.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts in how do we utilize our pastors like yourself in the church, right? And others in that we've developed a strong relationship with, that knows who we are, kind of like what Sister Lisa said, like people who know who we are, so that, like you said, Pastor Robert, keep us grounded.
Mhm.
How do we utilize those people to kind of mimic the same procedure that we would if we had like that sound family structure?
Okay.
Right. One thing, first and foremost, you just want to make sure you have that sober person
Yes.
in your life that you can always glean from. You always want to have that. Every mentor has a mentor.
Yes.
So you always want to make sure you have that one person that you always go to, right? And then also just like you say, with that person knowing you,
Mm-hmm.
then you can come back and say, hey, I have someone I want you to meet. And
Right.
then you let them know, say, hey, this, I've done my time with them. I think he might be the one or she might be the one, and things of that nature. And I want to bring them over to you to meet. Right. So you usually, that person will say, hey, bring them over for dinner. Let's go ahead and talk. Like, I've been to that point to where now I usually be the guy that does the vetting for someone. Right.
Right.
And my wife also do the same.
I've ran people off.
Yes, she has. So, so I have a tendency to pull into the side and ask, the questions from a fatherly role. She comes from a motherly role, and then also we make sure it's more so real life situations. Like, hey, what is your actual intentions? Like what? How do you see yourself? If you live a few years down the line, are you just looking for? I mean, we get real, right? We're like, hey, what is your real intentions? Is it just that you just want to date, or are you really trying to look to settle down? We really want to ask this, how do you feel about kids?
Like, what are you bringing to the table?
Yes.
That's the important part. What are you bringing to the table? If I'm bringing something, you have to bring something.
Yes. What do you do for a living? That's a portion of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Of course, that's important.
Yes.
But at the same time, I'm not going to be 100% impressed by what you're telling me what you do. You can come up with some big astronomical job or business, and I'll be like, yeah, that's great. Okay, so now that you have that, and that sounds very important, how do you see yourself being able to devote time to spend that quality time with her or with him? Because quality time is one of their love languages. Your mentor should also know your love language.
Yes.
Right. So basically, in your village, the people in your village should be people who could keep you grounded, is what I'm hearing.
Yes.
People who know you on an intimate level, right?
Yes.
So they know stuff like your love languages, your likes, your dislikes, how much money is in your bank account, what's your credit score, right? Those people, right? Okay. All right. Got you. All right. And so in utilizing that, right? And if we don't already have a village, how do we go about building a village?
Well, I mean, you'll always see or hear about somebody that says something that's very intriguing to you.
Okay.
When you get to that point, did you know that person like that? Then you want to go ahead and establish that relationship with them. Don't try to dump it all at one time. You may run it, but you have little pockets. Sometimes just be honest and say, hey, look, I'm really looking for somebody to mentor me. I think you might be the one, if that's okay with you. I'll also pray about it. Make sure that that's the one that the Lord wants to line you up with.
Right.
And then after that, you build that relationship.
Now, we have a question on what about the wolves in sheep clothing? Who's good at manipulating the masses? And I actually had this question come up before too on, falling for the okie doke, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do we prevent falling for the okie doke, right? Because some people are really good at pretending. So how do we feather through the nonsense?
One thing that you'll always find out is that as much as people try to hide their character, it's eventually going to come out. It can't stay hidden for a long time.
Yes, Lord.
That's why you can't really jump too soon. You have to take time and spend time with the person. Yes. Because what happens is you don't know somebody that you don't spend time with.
Exactly.
Right.
If you only see them here and there, you don't know the little nuances that they have.
Right.
Then just like you said with your grandfather, let me tell you, those people can pick up fake like 20 miles away.
Mm-hmm. Right. I love that. I like that spending time, because I feel like that's really good. Like because in this day and age of technology is like you send a couple of text messages back and forth, right? Or you get on the phone every now and again, right? And then you really call yourself dating.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, I like that. Being intentional is kind of what I'm hearing, right? Being intentional making sure that you're intentionally spending time to get to know what who that person is will
Yeah.
help you to get out, like, to like unclothe the wolves.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All
Right.
right. I love that. Now, and moving from that village and understanding that, I would like to know, what are the qualities that we are looking for in a potential mate when we are talking about looking for the husband. What are the things that you would advise us, extension of your children and sisters, right, that are single out here? What are the advice that you would have for us as far as characteristics to look for in a potential mate?
Well, you want somebody who's respectful. That's number one.
Number one.
And who carries themselves well.
Mhm.
Okay.
And one of the beautiful things about a mate is if they love God. Because if they love God, they're going to love you the way they're supposed to.
Right. Right.
The other thing is just making sure that they're stable. Because you want somebody who's stable mentally, emotionally, and physically stable.
Right.
Because you don't want somebody who's up 1 second, down the next.
Right.
So you want to make sure that they're stable. That's one of the most important things. And make sure, and one of the best ways to figure it out is look at how a man treats his mother. If you pay attention to how a man treats his mother, most likely that's how he's going to treat you.
Okay. Okay.
Or
Right.
for men, you look at how the wife treats her mother.
Okay. All right. Listen, y'all. Like, I'm telling you, because I know the streets out here, this dating game is real. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
It's real. So we want to make sure that we are taking these tips. All right.
Yeah.
Anything else as far as looking at the characteristics? And I love what you said.
I would say I want to go back to where your one of your viewers was saying about wolves and sheep's clothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You know, along with getting to know someone, you also want to really pay attention to different, mannerisms and things that they may
Yes.
give off, right? Because
Right.
just because of wolf and sheep's clothing, look, a wolf's feet is not the same as a sheep's feet,
Mm-hmm.
right? Claws are there. Sheeps don't have claws.
Right.
So you got to pay attention to all these little surroundings. Like I've told one person one time, he was dating a young lady, and she turned out to be, I'm just going to be upfront, she turned out to be crazy, right? And I told him, I said, look, you can't sit there and tell me that you never saw not one sign of that craziness in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
If you tell me that, I know you're not telling me the truth. Or the simple fact is, you were so enamored by the other
Right.
side of her that you didn't pay attention to that craziness.
Uh,
So the other thing is, you want to make sure that you're not so enamored about one facet of that person that you see,
Right.
that it blinds your vision to be able to see the total person, because
Yes.
you got to hold that person up in the light, just like a diamond, just like a ruby.
Right.
When every time that light hits it, there's a new glare that comes about.
Yes.
You got to be able to turn that diamond all the way around to look at all the different facets of it, to be able to make the determination of its value to you.
Yes.
right.
Once when you do that, and you know that the value is worth it to you,
Right.
then now you would know in your heart that you're willing to be able to put up with them, to endure different things with them, to be able to see their human side,
Yes.
the other side that nobody else sees.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have to be prepared to be able to see those things and how to be able to work with them in regards to that. So little things like that. I can still go on and on, but I'm going to stop right there.
No, that's really good. And I do want, because we talked about in episode 4, chemistry versus character, right?
Mhm.
Like, are you looking for, oh my gosh, like, I love this person. Like, my heart beats every time I hear their voice. And, are we are we getting caught up in the bubbly feeling, or are we focusing on the character?
Right.
And
Mhm.
so I love what you both have said is look at the qualities, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
Because you're looking for a spouse,
Yes.
right?
Hmm.
Okay, so now moving from those standards,
Hmm.
right?
Mhm.
Um, there are things that are within the characteristics, right? Um,
Mhm.
that is required. Like for example, when Pastor Lisa said, "Look at how he treats his mom," right?
Mhm.
Or how she treats her mom, right? Um,
Hmm.
Mhm.
what are those things that we're looking for specifically? Like how like is he going to take out the trash type of look at those things, or like what specifically are we looking at?
Like, is he sensitive to his mother's needs? So
Oh,
if she needs something, is he making himself available to accommodate her needs?
Right.
okay,
Is
okay,
he loving on her? Is he, does he tell his mother that he loves her? Does he
Yes.
send her flowers?
Yes.
okay.
Yeah. What Pastor Lisa says is 100% correct. The
Right.
way how you treat your mother, um, most times determines the way how you would treat the young lady. Um, because the saying is very true, right?
Mhm.
Mother's boys, mommy's boys, daddy's girl, right?
Right.
Mhm.
And a lot of times, if the mother, um, the way how she treats her son when she raises him,
Mhm.
right? He's gonna really cleave to her. So anything that she needs, if he's truly a mama's boy,
Yes.
right, then
Mhm.
he will make sure that no matter what, mama is always taken care of.
Yes.
Whatever she needs, he makes sure he gets. He makes sure he puts on the white glove service. He does everything to a T when it comes to that. So so now when he's finally found that person that he wants to meet mom, now
Right.
that's a big deal.
Yes.
It's a big deal for a man. When
Right.
he ready to bring that young lady to meet his mother,
Right.
that is a huge to do thing
Yes.
because he really values her opinion.
Okay. Now let me dive in a little bit on that. What if you're dating someone? Because I did hear this story. I think I was on Clubhouse or something. I did,
Mhm.
Okay.
um, and she was dating him, but he didn't want to introduce her to his family.
Mm.
Mm.
So what if you're dating someone, guy? Because we have listeners on both sides. What if you're dating someone that doesn't want to introduce you to his or her family?
Wow, that could be a multi-level explanation, right?
Right.
I mean, because it actually could be really, legit that his family might be crazy. He don't want to expose them to
Could be.
it. It could actually literally be that where he's like, I don't know if she get a whiff of them, she might run from me, right?
Right. Right.
Uh,
But then if the family is crazy, he might have those same traits. So she might still want to meet him.
that's
Right.
true. To be honest with you, when I was ready to bring Pastor Lisa to meet my family, I was a little leery because my family is highly overprotective over me,
Yes.
right?
Right.
And especially my mom and my sisters. And I
Right.
told I told Lisa, I said, look, when we get to the house, if all of my sister's cars are in the yard, you are in trouble. You're about to go through the gauntlet.
Yes.
And sure enough, we pulled up. All of their cars were in the yard, and they were sitting. Well, I walked in the living room first, and I saw all of them. I'm like, "Oh God, I don't know if I want to let her in here right now." You know. So that's what I'm saying. Sometimes it could be a multi-level explanation. It could be
Right.
the fact that either he's afraid how she will react to them.
Right.
They may actually be that crazy,
Right.
or the fact is he's hiding something else.
Okay.
I actually walked into the house and won his mom and his sisters over.
Yes.
It was his dad that I had an argument with the first time I met him.
Totally left
Oh,
field.
wow.
He was the least person I expected to
Right.
blow up. The least. I mean, I did not see that coming at all. I knew my dad was going to love her right from the jump, and he was the one that blew up. So, but
So
yeah.
we have one more question from our audience. How do you take back 15 to 20 years? Like how do you bounce back after um investing so much time?
Mm,
And
that's a good.
I want to refer you back to episode 3 because we talked a little bit about that. But any advice that you have on bouncing back?
It's not really, I wouldn't say it's a bounce back, but it's about moving forward and
Mhm.
taking the lessons that you learned
Right,
in those 15 years
Right,
and moving forward,
right.
right.
because you can't
Love
stay
that.
bound and stay a hostage to what's happened in the past.
Mhm.
I love
You
that.
just pick yourself up and you keep moving forward, because
Yeah,
every lesson learned helps you to grow.
yeah.
Bro.
And take inventory of yourself.
Yes.
Right. Don't just go back and try to hurt me, get back into the scene. Take your time, because now 15 years you develop a system within you, whether you know it or not, to
Yes.
whether what it is that you really like, what it is that you don't like, what you're not going to put up with, all these different things.
Absolutely.
All this is going to be in the makings of who you're going to present yourself to when you finally do meet that person. And don't rush to try to get back into it, because
Yes.
hey, you're going to realize that the dating scene has completely changed since you was in it 15
Yes.
years ago. it is,
I can
it,
attest.
yes, it is not the same. So you have to go ahead and take inventory, just like when my wife says, and then at the same time, understand and recognize that there's still good people out there.
Yes.
Right.
Sometimes when you go through that length of time like that, sometimes it can develop a certain hatred, and don't allow that to make you close minded,
Right.
and also put the force field around your heart.
Right.
Because and also, here's the other thing: don't take what that person took from you.
Right.
Right.
Don't carry that baggage over to the new person,
Right.
Yes.
because
And
you're
that's
going to
what
constantly
we talked about.
yes, because you're going to constantly compare,
Yes.
and that's not fair to the new person.
You got to start anew. New
Yes.
adventure. Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about that in episode 3 on breaking up with the perspective of breakups, right?
Mhm.
Like this is a process. It's just a process. It's a part
Yes.
of the journey and journey has ended and you're starting anew.
Mhm.
Yes.
But I solely, and this is part of my reason for doing this podcast, is just the healing process that, because you have to heal
Yes.
and
Yes.
you have to come to one with yourself
Yes.
Yes.
before you start dating.
Yes.
Exactly.
Whether you were in a marriage and got a divorce or whether you're like just single, you
Mhm.
have
Right.
to heal from trauma,
Mm-hmm.
trauma, experiences that we've gone through trauma, right?
Yes.
Or
Yes.
conditioning, right? Um, and come to one, elevate your vibration before you even start this process,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So
I agree.
I love
100% agree.
So we are going to pause for a second. I want you guys, we're going to wrap up here. And we're going to be right back in less than a minute. We're just going to um, skip over because, like I said before, we are taping 2 episodes today all together. And so we are going to be coming back in with the sauce from Pastor Lisa um, and Pastor Robert, too. He's going to be you know, we are going to talk about the treasure, right?
Right.
Yes.
We are going to be talking about the treasure. And so we will be back in a few minutes.